Welcome back. You're watching Overdrive, and it's time now for us to answer your queries on Autoselector, motoring agony aunt. Sirish Chandran joins us as always. Hi, Sirish. Our first question, Sirish, comes into us from Arun Agnihotri. It's an interesting one. He's an environmentalist, and he's currently doing a 3-year project at national parks. Since most Indian national parks do not allow diesel engine vehicles in, he wants to know if there's a petrol engine 4x4 SUV he can buy other than the Gypsy, and he doesn't have a very large budget. In fact, he's got a budget of just about 10 lakh rupees. What would you recommend?
Well, see, the Gypsy is the best, and you're talking about a limited budget. So at that price, the Gypsy King is the best. Now, I'm sure you're familiar with the Gypsy because most wildlife sanctuaries have the Gypsy to go into the sanctuary. So it is a very capable off-roader, but the ride quality is quite terrible. Now, if you can look at a diesel engine vehicle, the Xylo 4x4, it's available on order, though you have to order it and you have to wait for delivery, but that is quite competent, and no, it's very comfortable also. So to take your people around, it is a comfortable vehicle. The Scorpio 4x4, it is even more competent, it's more capable off-road, though the ride quality isn't as good as the Xylo. There is also the Safari 4x4, but that diesel engine is not that powerful, and the car is too big and ponderous to be really good off-road. If you can stretch your budget to say around 18 lakh rupees, you can get the Maruti Suzuki Grand Vitara. It's got the new 2.4 litre engine, so now performance is quite decent compared to the old Grand Vitara. It's got proper 4x4, so it is quite capable off-road, and that is something that you can look at. And above the Grand Vitara, well, you have the Mitsubishi Outlander around 20 lakh rupees, but it doesn't have low ratio, so it won't be as capable off-road.
So our next question comes into us from Mohsin. He says he's planning to buy himself a Bullet, which he will primarily use for long rides on weekends. He's confused between the new Bullet 350 UCE engine and the Bullet Electra Twin Spark. Which model should he go for, Sirish?
Well, I know it is confusing. Now, I'll reduce your confusion. The UCE engine is the Twin Spark engine, so there are no two different engines. It is the same UCE Twin Spark engine which is available in the 350. It's a nice engine going by Royal Enfield standards, and I think, see, that's the best that you can get. Then the Royal Enfield doesn't really have any other competition. You can't really compare a Bullet to, say, a Charisma or a Pulsar because it has its own charm, and when you buy a Bullet, you buy into a whole community, a community of riders. You go out on weekend rides, there are Bullet clubs all over the country. If you have your heart set on a Bullet, I guarantee you, you will not be disappointed. It is a great... I personally am a Bullet fan. I love Bullets, even though it has its shortcomings and everything. But a Bullet is a Bullet. No, it's a great fun bike.
And our final question comes into us from Shaurya Batra. Shaurya lives in Delhi, and he does close to 20 to 25,000 kilometers a year. He wants to spend about 9 lakh rupees on a car. It will be used mainly for city commuting and the odd long drive thrown in. He feels he doesn't do enough driving to make a diesel viable. Currently, he's driving a City ZX and a Baleno, and he likes those cars. He's had a really poor ownership experience though with Ford in the past, and he's not too fond of the Verna or the SX4's build quality, so he's leaning towards the Honda City. He wants to know when the Toyota Etios and the Volkswagen new sedan will launch in India, and what your take is on both those cars.
Well, the obvious choice is the City, and it is an obvious choice for very good reason. It is the best that you can buy in that segment. And you don't do too many kilometers in a year, so you don't really need to go and buy a diesel. You can enjoy the delights of a petrol engine and enjoy a City, because the City is really the best in that segment. Now, the Etios, it will be launched at the end of the year. The Polo sedan will be launched in a month or two. They're already well underway in terms of development, in terms of getting it ready for production. Now, both these vehicles, I don't think will really compete with the City, because the Etios, it is a sedan, but it is not as big as the City. So inside the interior room and all that will not be as good as the City. And the Etios, when we saw it at the Auto Expo, I thought it looked a bit too much like the Mahindra Renault Logan. It's not a stylish product. It's a very conservative product. It's too conservative even by Toyota standards. So I would still go for the City. And the Etios, I think, also will be cheaper than the City. Now, the Polo sedan, they're going to stretch the wheelbase, so they're going to liberate more room inside the car, but they can't widen the car, so shoulder room will remain the same. So that too will not have the same space as the City. The only plus point it'll have over the City is that it'll get a diesel engine, whereas the City does not have a diesel engine. So if you're looking at a diesel car, then the Polo sedan might be the best in its class. Might. We haven't driven it, but my feeling is that it might go to the top of its class in the diesel engine category. Among petrol engines, I think the City will still rule the roost.